or Ratnesh will speak?
Ratnesh will
Ratnesh
speak
will
first.
speak first.
Okay, so everyone, we are live. We will just wait for another 2 minutes and then we will start.
Yes, miss.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and I think it's better if we keep our mics on mute so that when one person is speaking, it doesn't create disturbance.
Right, right.
Is this sir, is that fine?
Hello, miss.
Ratnesh, sang.
Harsha, can you hear me?
Yeah, sir, we can hear you.
Okay.
Huh.
Harshada, can you hear me?
Yeah, sir, we can hear you.
I could not hear you actually.
Now it is fine.
They're going to speak one by one, no?
Yeah, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, now it is fine. No, I'm having a full Wi-Fi connection, so there is no problem issue of connectivity.
Okay,
I think
sir.
you need to check your connectivity if it is any issues. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll
Now
put
it's-
my mic off. Okay. All the best. All the best.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have around 20 people who has joined as of now, so I think we are good to go without wasting much time.
Yes,
So, hello everyone, and good evening for third session of Burgeon. And today we have Ratnesh and Gaurav who will be sharing their journey about their third year project, which has led them into environment awareness in their society. So I welcome Ratnesh and Gaurav, and I'm very pleased to introduce our today's subject expert, Dr. Nitin Sawant, who is assistant professor in departments of zoology at Goa University. He is also mentor of Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, which is led by Goa University. And also we have with us very young and another mentor of mine personally, Mr. Anupam Singh Sisodia from Chhattisgarh, and he is sustainability outreach officer at Lead India, and he has done extensive work on butterflies from Chhattisgarh from last 6 years, and he has started his journey from outreach programs, and now he is into hardcore wildlife. So I welcome him as well. And without taking much time, I request Ratnesh to start.
Okay, miss. Am I audible, miss?
Yeah, you are audible.
Yeah,
Ratnesh, go
okay,
ahead.
So, okay, miss. Okay. So, good evening, everyone. My name is Ratnesh Shirodkar, and I'm a student of fourth year BSc B.Ed, currently studying in Ganpat Parsegar College of Education. And today I am going to talk about my third year BSc project that we had done in zoology. So let's move forward. So a project overview. Okay, so this was the title of a project, that is study of corded diversity and its seasonality pattern around Ganpat Parsekar College of Education, Armal, Goa. Okay, so before I go ahead with my project, I would like to tell you all that this project is very special for us, mainly because of one main reason. That is, this project was a bridge between our understanding zoology as a subject of textbook knowledge and rote memorization. We always thought that this subject is just the bookish knowledge, but no, this project changed our perspective, changed our point of view towards zoology, and we now consider it as a subject of practical aspect and field work. Okay. But there is a what they say is there is something called as a starting point of everyone's career, and my starting point was this a small session that was conducted by Pranay sir and Harshada Miss on birding in Goa in a college. This was just a classroom session that Pranay sir had taken up, and he had told about the various bird species which are there in Goa. He told us about the endemic species that are found in Goa. He even introduced us about the new birding experience, that how birding is conducted by the experts, by even the amateur enthusiasts and environmentalists. So this was a small session. After the session, Pranay sir even even demonstrated us about the use of gadgets in birding. That is one gadget he had shown us was a binocular, a high-powered binocular used during birding. So that was something really different for us because zoology was now going beyond textbook. It was going off the field. But still, the real Kickstarter came about in this small herpetofauna trail that was conducted by Harshada Miss in our college campus. This was the real Kickstarter. This was the real starting point because this was the first time we actually moved out of our classroom and we traveled and we surveyed the surrounding area of our college. And it was fascinating. I still remember the first question Harshada Miss asked was, "What is herpetofauna?" And we were not knowing that answer. So then she told the study of the collection. It's a combination of amphibia along with the reptiles, and that is called as the herpetofauna. And I remember while we were moving ahead with the survey, the first species we had found was the common Indian toad, a small toad we had found along the way. And it was beautiful. It was beautiful. All along the night, we surveyed around for somewhere around 1 hour. We even found a blue crab tree. Okay, so we had found that, and this was amazing for us. And this was the journey of from here to our project. And then as the time for project came, there were three things that was very important to consider in our project. So our project was based on three basic things. First one was biodiversity. We had to learn about biodiversity, which included studying about diversity of within the species, between the species, and of the ecosystem. So we had to do the study. We had to even learn about the IUCN, that is the International Union, IUCN. So we had to learn about the IUCN also. So we had to learn about the status of all the endangered species, vulnerable species, etc. So this was a challenging task. And biodiversity not only included the study that area, but actually it involved the whole globe, okay, the whole world, the study from country to country, from state to state. The second thing that it was based on was the coded diversity in that study area. So our study area was a college campus. We had marked the transact, and that was a study area. The main coordinates, the higher classes that we had considered, amphibia, reptiles, and aves and mammals. So we had to study that. Okay, so we had to compare the coordinates according to the seasonality pattern, with respect to the terrain from plateau to fellow agricultural, and what are the species we can find in that area. And third main important point that we considered was its variation over the seasonality pattern. See, Harmal is a place which enjoys three different prominent seasons. Like there's a heavy rains experienced during monsoon. There's a hot, humid climate during summer vacation, and the winters are chilled. Okay, so there is a seasonality pattern. So it was bound that within that framework of 5 to 6 months of our study period, we were supposed to be getting species with respect to the all the climates. So we were bound to get to at least two climates throughout this study period. Okay, and the main objectives of the project. Now, before a start of the project, if you want to get a desired outcome or desired result, if you want to get and decent study we want to make, setting up an objective for the project is very important. It can be 10 objectives and it can be even one objective, but objective has to be clear because we should be specific. Okay, this is the result we want, then this is the objective we will have to set. Now, the three objectives I have explained all: the diversity of amphibian reptiles, the quantitative analysis of avian diversity. Why quantitative analysis of avian diversity? That Hermal region, that our college campus has lot of birds. If you just move out of your house, you will at least find 5 species of different kinds of birds. If you just walk in, you will find Brahminy kite, black kite, booted eagle, and even Indian roller, etc. So quantitative analysis was important because one species can have somewhere around 50 to 20, 50 to 60 species population, a number of population. Okay, so the third was seasonality pattern with respect to Texas in the study area. The fourth point, comparing stakeholders' information about coordinates with that of the primary collection. The stakeholders' information was important. Might be maybe they have not have that scientific knowledge. They don't know that okay, so this is the behavior a bird is showing. That may be a courtship behavior. They don't know that, but they surely know that okay, this behavior is that. So they are about to get. It is the mating season, and even stakeholders, if we compare, their information is genuine and authentic because they have the ground level information. They know what kind of birds you will see in particular season, why it is not there in the other season. They don't have scientific knowledge, okay, but their information is genuine and authentic. So these were our main objectives of the project. The broader objective was to study the diversity and also to after that to create awareness about about that area. Okay, so before I move ahead with the tools and techniques, Harshada Miss was a guide of for our project. So she before the start of the project, she told us two things. There are two things you consider in a project. One, the discussion and planning that is done in the four walls of the classroom, and second is the work you actually do on the field. Without one, you cannot have a good such that your work on the field is gets you desired result. The work on the field has to be good such that you can after the field work you can build statistics and all that conclusion over the data. So both of the things have to go parallel and have to go smoothly. So planning has to be done. So there were various tools and techniques we used in mapping and recording species. First of all, we required a reference books. Okay, so to compare the data. And there are three main books we used to compare the data. Okay, so first one, the birds of Indian subcontinent. Second was the reptiles and amphibians, and third one was Indian mammals. Now, what happened when you are on the field? Sometimes you see, example, a bird. Sometimes you see a species of bird and you don't recognize it, but at least you can jot down the points. Okay, so plumage is white, and you can say that okay, so beak is short. Okay, so it is a sparrow plus or sparrow minus. You can determine, you can jot down the size, and then you can come back to at your home and you can compare the data. See whether this information matches with the with particular bird or not. Okay, so that's why these books were very important, and birds of Indian subcontinent. That book was really important for us because there were a lot of birds, and we wanted a genuine and authentic information about these birds. The second was to use the latest technology, and what could be better than the Google Earth for marking study area? Why Google Earth? Because as you can see the image, that center point is a college, okay, and surrounding area there's plateau, there's fellow agricultural land, there's human habitat, okay, and then there's other terrain also. So Google Earth gives us a clear insight as to what kind of terrains are there in your study area, and also it gives you a chance to mark the transect. A transect is a place where your study will take place, and the species occurrence will be there. So it is a path along the study area. Okay, so this was facilitated by Google Earth. So we marked our transect using the Google Earth. So these were the main tools and techniques that we used. So one was reference books and then the Google Earth. Now this all happened within the four walls of the classroom. That was the part of planning and also the discussion, counter arguments, etc. Okay, now the main, that is what is the core of this project, that was the field work. Okay, so before field work, this told us that you might find two evidences, direct evidences as well as indirect evidences. Direct evidences were, suppose you can see directly, okay, that bird is there, that bird is Indian roller, you know that, you can see that bird directly. Okay, that's a crimson back sunbird, so there's a crimson back over there, plumage is a little white. Okay, so that is a sparrow minus. So these kind of direct evidences you can find, you can directly observe it through your eyes, and you can jot down it. Okay, so these are the direct evidences. What about those evidences which are indirect, which tell you the presence, which tell you that this species is present over here with some kind of other? So indirect evidences included pug marks of leopard, a scat of Indian palm civet, and this black pellets of black napped hair. Okay, so these were the indirect evidences. We actually never got to see these species, but these evidences were prominent. Even we always used to get the scat of Indian palm civet at various regions. So we could conclude that okay, Indian palm civet is there here. Even black hairnet we had seen through naked eye, but we never got to document it. We could never get a photograph of it. So, but that evidence of that white color, you can see the third image. Okay, so that is the pellets of black napped hair. Okay, आम्ही त्याका रानटी असो म्हणतात in कोकणी. Okay, so these were the indirect evidences. Direct evidences included okay, observing the habitat. And directly observing, directly making and directly getting the information of a species. So these were the evidences that we collected throughout our fieldwork. Now, okay, so now the fieldwork is done. Okay, so we have all the data now. Now building a statistics is very important because a statistics gives us a chance to compare the data. Okay, we can compare it season to season. We can compare it terrain to terrain. We can compare it from class to class, and we know how many species are there, how many species we didn't see them again. So building a statistics is very important. And statistics can be as simple as a bar graph, such as this. So this was the graph of number of species versus the taxonomic group. So we had marked this, and as you can see, as you can clearly see here, the highest number of bird species we recorded was of the aves. Okay, somewhere around 59 we recorded, followed by mammals, and then reptiles and amphibians. Okay, so why we recorded amphibians? Because our work started post monsoon. Okay, it almost started as in America they called it as autumn and all. So our work started over there, and soon these amphibians, their number started decreasing. In their number started decreasing. Okay, but birds were seen. So 59 prominent species we had seen during our fieldwork. Okay, we even use Venn diagrams. Now the difference between a Venn diagram and bar graph is observable. Okay, because Venn diagrams gives data about the exclusivity of that species. Suppose, for example, let's just consider the second Venn diagram. Okay, that is the birds over the season. As you can see, there are three sets over there. One is a common set, and the rest of them and are exclusively post monsoon and exclusively winters. Okay, so six suppose the birds. So six species were found exclusively post monsoon, and 18 species were found exclusively winter. But there were other species which were found during both the season, and that was a major in number in 35. Even you can check the other species and other classes also, such as the reptiles. Okay, only one species exclusively post monsoon, but five species during winters, and overlapping only one species was there. Rest of the and this all the so it give so it enabled us to compare the data to understand how much drastic changes have gone through the various seasons. Okay, so now if we even use the bar graphs to compare the number of species to that of the season. Now we have the graphs now, so we had to now we have to draw the tabular column. So first information we wanted was the dominant species that were there over the season. So we got this graph. Okay, so we got this table of column. So that as you can see, we mentioned two seasons, post monsoon and winter. So suppose let's just consider jungle maina. It was there in the post monsoon, but in winter it was nowhere to be seen. But there were some birds which were found in both these seasons, such as the black kite. It was there in post monsoon also, it's there in winter also, and I guess it's there in the summer also. So it can be there throughout the season. Even for that matter, red whiskered bulbul, it was there in post monsoon as well as winter. So with statistics, we could conclude this data. We could make a table of column form, and we can compare the bird species that were found in both of them, and also exclusively in just one season. So and then okay, so these were the species that we had found. The first frog you can see is a marbled ramanella. The second one is a fungoid frog. Other than this, we found Indian bullfrog also we had observed, and even the common Indian toad also we had observed. And these were very little. Okay, so there were only somewhere around 5 to 6 species of amphibians we ever recorded. And reptile species, most of them were this. The first image you can see is a Brooks gecko, and the second is a forest calotus. Other than this, we saw one monitor lizard. We saw the garden lizard also. we can find it in the region. But Brooks gecko and this forest calotus was something fascinating, because so much drastic difference between them. Yet they if I'm not a student of zoology, for me, both these will be the same if I look it from a distance. But now, as I'm doing this project, you find so many drastic changes. Even the skin also, even the way the spikes are there on the back. So there's a drastic difference between the species and bird species, of course, because we found over 59 birds there. So as soon as we moved out of our class, Brahmini kite was also Brahmini kite to milta hi tha. And then because and one point used to think that let's just ride Brahmini kite for the sake, because he is going to be there only. Okay, but the other birds you can see as the second one, the crimson back sunbird. Okay, crimson back sunbird. Okay, that we found only 2 to 3 times. Nilgiri wood pigeon. We had to go to the deepest part of that transects. Okay, somewhere you don't even expect. So it's slightly frightening over to go there. We found the Nilgiri wood pigeon. Malabar lark is always there. Okay, fellow agricultural land is there besides our college. You can find it. You can find it throughout the day. Okay, the fifth image is a long-tailed shrike. Okay, it was we found this Malabar pied hornbill also. So we found the sixth image. Pied hornbill, I don't know what is there in Hermal or what specialty is there. You can find it in ample amount. So there's a huge population of pied hornbill, not only in that college area, but if you travel at least 1 kilometer, there's a dam in Hermal, and you can see a lot of pied hornbills. And there's a what you call that, a noise. Okay, they just shout and like they're calling. So there's something in Hermal that attracts these pied hornbills. So now that our project was complete, okay, so we had the data, and we had the data, we had the statistics. Now we know. So baseline data was also there. Now it was about to be put on a practical purpose. Now how will we put? Will be taken up by Gaurav. Okay, because just studying about this information is not enough. We have to use it. We have to create awareness about this, because Harmal is a tourist spot. It enjoys a lot of tourists. Okay, rampant development is there. Mountains are getting cut. Okay, rivers are getting dried. So there's a drastic development is going on, but there is no conservation. There's no sustainable development that is going on. So creating awareness is important, and that will be taken up by Gaurav.
Hello.
Ratnesh, thank you very much. We will just stream Gaurav's presentation so that he can take over. Gaurav, just a minute. Huh?
Okay. Okay. Okay, ma'am. Is it visible?
Yes, Gaurav, it is visible. Just put it on slideshow, and
Yeah,
you can
okay, okay.
start. Yeah.
Okay, am I audible, ma'am?
Hello, Gaurav, go ahead.
Okay, okay, ma'am. Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Gaurav Naik, student of zoology in Ganpat Pasekar College of Education. And as Ratnesh have told you all about our project in detail, I will not go into all the technical things, but I will start from my childhood onwards, like how I came into how I related to zoology, and then how it all went about through my classroom and then into the awareness work. So I'll be focusing more on that, so you all can relate everything to it. So that's why I'm starting from my childhood. So what took me there was you can see here my childhood pics. Like everybody of us have at least a cat or a dog at our home, and we usually are in contact with these organisms. And uh, in my childhood, if generally if you take any child to a beach or seashore, they will build a castle or any building or something of sand. But I don't know what was my temptations from inside. I used to make a crocodile, a turtle on beach, and then used to sit outside and see people getting amazed by my creations, and I was getting a kind of happiness in it. Even down there, you can see my uncle had cows, so the contact with animals was right from my childhood. So when being in a village, you get exposure to people who go for freshwater fishing and all those kinds of things. So uh, that was my initial contact with animals. And then I had a strange hobby. So if you ask any child or any person what is your hobby, then they'll definitely tell you something like painting, swimming, or playing a guitar, or something fancy, or that may attract your ears and eyes. But I had a very strange hobby, and I still pursue that hobby. Is I just go on walking on the fields, on the hills that are nearby, or any naturally biodiverse area where I simply get happiness roaming there, and I find nest of birds. I don't know how I got into this, but I generally go and look for nest of birds. And this is right from my childhood. So these are some pics in which the first pic is of nest of lapwing, wherein there are 3 eggs. On the right side, there is this nest of Indian pitta. Down there on the left side, the chicks, young ones of Indian robins are there. And in the last pic, there are young ones of lapwing. So this is my hobby. I generally go into forest, and I don't know, you look for birds and animals there. So as I moved further in my 11th and 12th standard, I got a mobile phone. So as you get a camera to your phone, you always tend to click pictures. But then I was not able to click pictures of birds and animals which are at a distance from me. So what I used to do is I used to play a jugaad with that. I had a small binocular, so I used to attach it to my mobile camera, and then I used to shoot pictures at that time. This is something 4-5 years back. So in this picture, actually these pictures are really blur because they are taken from a binocular and a simple mobile camera. So in this first picture, there are this tailor birds. Second one is Indian robin. Third one is peacock's peak. Then what I want to say is, until this point, everything was really unorganized for me. Like for the sake of having interest in animals, nature, it was there. But then choosing a correct subject combination for graduation was a turning point in my life, I would say, because a correct company leads you to correct destinations. When I chose chemistry, botany, and zoology as my subject combination for graduation, I came in contact with Ma'am Kavita Nair, who is head of the Department of Zoology in Ganpat Pasikar College of Education. The speciality of ma'am is that even if you ask a silly doubt about nature or anything related to zoology, she will beautifully dissect it into a very organized information, and then she makes you think on that information further. So this is like, she shaped my interest of zoology into a proper format. And then there were 3 more people, ma'am Philomena Pereira, ma'am Arshada, and ma'am Gayatri, who actually, if I want to put it like this, if Kavita ma'am have shaped us, then they have sharpened our interest. And then of course there are these 9 people down there I have picked with me. These are my zoology classmates with whom I have discussed every silliest of the silliest doubt, or any for that matter, any information related to subject. We had arguments on that. We had information giving to each other. So this was a very healthy environment for us to get closer to this subject. And perks of being a zoology student in Ganpat Pasekar College of Education, Harmal, is that you get to participate in n number of events which are of course related to your subject. So why I'm telling this to everyone right now is, there are many subject teachers from other colleges and students watching this presentation, so they can even relate to this, and they can even take these ideas and use for their students. So the main perk of being a zoology student in Ganpat Parsekar College is you get to participate in a lot of these events which are related to your subjects. Now, as Ratnesh has told, we were taken for herpetofauna trail. Then there were intercollegiate events in other colleges, so which were totally based on subject. So what happens is that when you are made to participate in a competition which is related to your subject, you have to read something. Without reading, you cannot participate, because that competition is somehow related to some technical information in your subject. So as in the previous session, Dr. Himendra Bharti has very nicely said it, that if your reading is finished, you are finished. So by that logic, we were subconsciously made to read things when participating for these events. Okay, then we didn't just participated in this event, we are consecutively winning these events for last 2-3 years. So that tells us how much our department is making us involved in this. And then we also organized our very own event of zoology, and for which the specialty of which was we had made all the deco from the trash which was collected from around our campus. So the seeds of conservation, seeds of reusing the or recycle, reuse, and all those kinds of things were put into our mind automatically by such kinds of programs through our college. So in fact, there were actually many programs which held. This was a night trail. Then on the right side there is a group with Mr. Hanuman Gawas sir, who had come for our night trail as an expert. Then down there is a pic which shows our visit to the fish breeding center at Keri Sattari, wherein we got to actually see how zoology is being put into practical use by various platforms, also by the government. Then this was a trail at Agasayam, Goa. Then also, yeah, this is the peak wherein we had a snake show at our college. So when you get to handle some creatures which you usually are of which you usually have less information about, then hearing about those creatures from expert actually makes or gives you a different perspective towards looking those creatures. And another pic is there wherein there is a tortoise in my hand. This was in Abyss aquarium at Verna. And then there are quiz competitions which were organized for us. So all these things made us go into the depth of the subject and read at least something related to subject which is something out of syllabus. So, and also, yeah, if this was my pick on the top of Kundadri Hills at Agumbe. This was for our zoology study tour at Karnataka last year. So if you are taken to such fantastic places, why would somebody resist in studying zoology, or why would somebody resist involving into that subject? So this was this year's study tour was at Gujarat, and this was a fossil museum visit wherein we had actually seen a dinosaur egg, fossil egg. So these are some fascinating things. Again, this was our visit to Nalia Bustard Reserve in Gujarat. This was what I can say, a very precious moment wherein we got to see a Indian bustard, which I cannot ever forget in my life. Now, the point which I want to convey here is organizing these kinds of seminars, these kinds of sessions with such elite speakers, you automatically tend to have a different perspective towards your subject, and then you organize your mind, like from starting from your crude hobby from childhood to going into a serious study of zoology. You actually get a help from such organizations by your college. So this was my first thing. Like, this is a news clipping which is 3 years back, had published in Naveen Times. Ramchandra Joshi and Gaurav Naik wins a rapid identification competition in which I had to just identify maximum organisms within the given time. So, and I got first prize in my first year in this competition. And the what is notable is that I had got a prize, and it was a book, Birds of Goa. So if my department would have not given me that book at that time, then for sure I would have not read anything by myself about birds in my first year. So this made me go into the study of birds and other nature related things more. So also we were told about third bird festival which happened this year, and I was a part of it. So until my third year, I was slowly getting closer and closer to subject. So thousands of questions accumulated over years answered by my TY project. For this project, Ma'am Harshada was our guide, and you can see in the pic the habitat we used to survey in for this project. And as Ratnesh already told you, I will not go into the technical things much, but I'll just show you some pics that we had during projects. The first one is the tree crab, purple tree crab. Second is of course a peacock. Third one is marbled ramonella. Fourth one is pill millipede. And yes, that jugaad which I used to do in childhood was also used by me in my project study, because suddenly you see some creature and you have to document it. So that time, whatever there is present in your hand, you have to use it. So there was a binocular and there was a mobile. So my childhood hobby came into use, and I had pictured this Siberian stone chat and hoopoe, which were really interesting to see. Now, as Ratnesh have told us about all this, I will not go into detail, but one unexpected thrill that we encountered during our project study, on that I want to focus. So one day, what happened was me and my other group mates were surveying the area, and it's a quite complicated area, because on the front side of college there is a hill. The college is on the plateau, and there are abandoned fields on the other side, and surrounding area is a human settlement, and a main road is passing by that side. So we were expecting some birds, some reptiles, like common house gecko and all those things for our project, but we had not expected some wild mammals that we could see during our project area. So what happened was, one day we were trailing, and my friend suddenly told me, "अरे सुन, आवाज आ रही है कहाँ से, और ये leopard है." And we were like, इतने dense area में how can a leopard come? So that day तो we actually fooled our friend and brought him to college, and then we discussed this incident with Ma'am Harshada, our project guide. So she told us why there cannot be a leopard, because we should see. And the other day she accompanied us to that same place on the same time, and this was a time where that sound which we had heard yesterday came 8 times. So this was a time when Harshada ma'am actually confirmed with us that yes, Gaurav, this is leopard, and it is really very close to us somewhere. We couldn't see the leopard, but that time I got to know that anything can be possible. And in an area where a pre-primary, primary, a school and a college works on a full-fledged level, so you can imagine the traffic that this area gets every day. And also being close to seashore, there are also tourists coming to this area, and there is this small patch of green, as you had seen in Ratnesh's slide, where this leopard was present. And then Ma'am Harshada showed us the pug mark of that leopard. Of course, it is not that visible in this pic at right side of the slide. So I have just put image on the right side, which is taken from internet, but this is just for audience to understand how a pic of pug mark looks like. So you have to see for some of the indirect evidences when studying about mammals, because I know hardly a few people will know that our within a half kilometer circle radius of our college, you can get a creature like leopard, that too in such an densely populated area, and nobody knows about it. So yeah, last year, hearing a leopard call near my college, seeing a Nilgiri wood pigeon, and then not around my college, but one day while going home from college, I suddenly encountered a Indian bison beside a road at the neighboring village. So these were the some fantastic things which led us to more study in zoology. Now, rescuing olive ridley. This is another incident that happened last year with me and my friends. One day we were there on Kerry Beach. Now, Kerry Beach, I guess not many people will be knowing about this beach, because this is the first beach. If you see on the map of Goa, you'll see a small spot, a village named as Kerry. There is this small patch of sand, not much visits of tourists and all, but this is a very beautiful area. And one day me and my friends, after college hours, had a visit to my friend's house. So then we went for a evening walk there, and suddenly we saw some foreigners taking pictures of a creature which was moving there. So we rushed there and saw that it was an olive ridley turtle. It was an olive ridley turtle. So at this moment,
Current went up. I am.
hello, ma'am, am I audible?
Gaurav, you are audible. Go ahead, go ahead.
Hello, ma'am, am I audible?
Yeah, Gaurav, you are audible. Go ahead.
Okay. So on this day, we saw that a olive ridley turtle is coming to shore. And before that, to my knowledge, or for that matter, anybody, if you ask in Goa that where do you get olive ridleys, then people will tell you only two places, that is Morji and Galjibak shore. So this was something fascinating for me. So we followed that turtle. Let's see what that turtle wants to do. So in some time it started digging in the sand. So now we got an idea that it's surely going to lay eggs. So that time many people gathered around it. So and we were in uniform, so people started asking us, well, are you from forest department or no? So people started inquiring about us, and those were locals. So then I started inquiring about them. Okay, do you get these turtles every year? Then one of them said, yes, we get these turtles every year. And I was surprised to hear this, because nobody has ever recorded olive ridley on Scary Beach officially. So that was something surprising. And then I asked him, have you seen any times the young ones coming out of sand and moving towards the seashore? Then he told me that where young ones come and all, people dig these eggs and they eat it. This was something shocking for me. Right at that moment, I called Ma'am Harshada, and then she helped us in contacting the forest department of Pedne Taluka, and then she gave me a number of a person who works for turtle rescue at Morjim Beach. But again, there was a delay of 2-3 hours in those people's coming. So and by that time that turtle had returned to seashore, into the sea. So we were really bored staying there, because we thought that these forest departments people are not going to come, and we should return at home because it was dark. So what we did for rescue of that turtle was, me and my friend created small heaps of sand around that area, so that if any local comes to dig those eggs, they should get confused with this. So we started walking towards road, and then at that time suddenly those forest department people came there, and then we went there and we successfully rescued 100 eggs of olive ridley turtle on Kerry Beach, Pedne. So this was a time when Ma'am Harshada was coming up with Arannya's no single-use plastic movement. So she told me about that she is also coming up with something related to turtles, and you can be a part of this. So I was really fascinated by this initiative of ma'am. But that time Aranya's campaign was going on in middle and southern parts of Goa, so I could not visit those parts at that time. So I started thinking what an individual can do to conserve nature, or to take part in this moment of empowering and making people aware about what is going on in the environment and how we can conserve it. So as I was seeing Aranya's no sub challenge, I decided to do it in my locality at my individual level. So this was a time when I started going to local shop owners and all the sugarcane vendors, sugarcane juice stalls there in my area, and started doing no sub campaign. And people, I was happy that people were getting convinced by this good idea which came up from Aranya. So to take this challenge forward, I tagged people. I used to tag 3 people at a time, and then those 3 people had to do same in their locality. So this moment took us to some fascinating results that I know very few people have done this, but those of you who have done this very seriously are genuinely onto it till today, and they are not using any straws or anything for their individual use, at least in their life. So I am happy that at least some people are changed after this initiative. Then as a B.Ed student, we are made to go for internships in various schools. So then after, you cannot when you go into some a campaign or movement, you cannot leave that thought suddenly. So I used even my B.Ed internships for making students aware, and in turn making their parents aware about sustainable ideas. In fact, under Science Club, I had organized competitions which made students to think about sustainable ideas, and I was surprised to see students coming up with really fantastic ideas over time. So yeah, now let's talk about some ideas that people or any lay person can do in their locality without putting in much efforts. So usually I have seen people grumbling about what I can do. Now let's see what I can do. Like this post says, everybody wants to park the park in the shade, but nobody wants to plant a tree. So for people like this, I want to tell, or for information of everyone out there listening to this talk, I would like to tell you that every year in the first week of July, you will see every forest department in every taluka gives away free saplings, free plants for all those who want to take those home, plant them, and want to take care of them. What you have to do is simply write an application, and not even a very complex application which you used to write in your 10th standard English paper. Just a 2-3 line application that I am so and so, and you have to you please give me some saplings for celebrating Vana Mahotsav. That's it. By doing this much, you can get free 10 plants in the first week of July from forest department, at least in Goa. I don't know if other departments are doing it, but you can take those plants and plant it in your own area, and then you can take care of those. That will be a big step towards conserving nature at individual level. Now I have been doing this for last 3 years, and I am happy to see those trees growing well in my area. Okay, the next thing you all can do is simply keep a plate full of water at any corner of your compound or your area, and you will be really happy to see different kinds of birds and animals coming to that plate of water. So from my experience, I can say that more than 50 birds and even some mammals like civet cat visit the bird bath kept by me in my area. So if let's say if there are 50 people or on this live session right now, if everybody started keeping a simple bird bath at their place, then multiply 50 by 50, 50 and see how much it comes to. That many creatures will be helped by every individual who are present here right now online on this session. So this we can do individually. And at the last, I want to say, okay, if hello, okay, and the last part is okay, if you are not okay with the plantation thing, or you are not okay with the bird bath thing, then this one thing you can do is segregating your waste. Now you may not a plant tree planter, you may not keep a bird bath for birds or animals, but you stay somewhere on this earth and you will definitely generate some amount of waste every single day. So what you can do is just segregate that waste in dry and waste compartments separately, and then it's your responsibility to give it to a proper collection vehicle that comes to your area. So what happens is that you will not realize it initially, but as time passes by, you'll see the stray cattle, the stray dog, cats, and all the other nuisance that happens due to garbage will definitely get reduced by your simple act of segregating and giving it to some proper channel. And for your information, I would also like to add on to this that after Swachh Bharat Abhiyan was launched, every local governing body, like every panchayat, every municipality, gets a separate fund totally dedicated for waste management. And if you all or your local governing body is not utilizing it, then you are definitely a dharti ka boj on this planet, I must say. So again, you can do a simple thing.
Gaurav, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I request you to be little quick because we are running.
Yes. It's over.
Sorry,
it's
sorry
over.
for interrupting in between.
No,
Okay.
it's over. So think globally and act locally.
Yeah.
So you can put a simple application and then request your local governing body to have that garbage collection vehicle at your place. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Gaurav and Ratnesh. I request Vignesh to add Ratnesh on the stream, please. Okay, so without wasting much of time, I think we will quickly move to Anupam, and I request him to give his feedback to both of you.
Thank you, Gaurav and Ratnesh. It was a pleasure listening to both of you, and the way you build up on each other's work is something which I personally learned a lot from. And before I begin with my feedback, which also in a way is part of my feedback, I really want to congratulate Aranya and Harshada with the kind of work which they are doing. And to take an example from what both of you spoke, both of you especially spoke about the impact of exposure which you have had, and the impact of guidance and mentorship which you have had when it comes to looking at the biodiversity around you, or planning the kind of projects which you are doing for yourself and for your college. So thank you so much, Harshada, first of all, for doing what you are doing, and both Ratnesh and Gaurav are testifying to that fact that the impact a simple exposure or a guided mentorship can make such a huge difference in lives of so many students. And I think we have been lucky to have had people around us who have been very helpful and have always extended a helping hand. So thank you so much, Aranya and Harshada. Ratnesh and Gaurav, it was a pleasure listening to both of you. I'll come to Ratnesh. I'll start with Ratnesh. Um, Ratnesh, you spoke about realizing the practicality of what you read in the textbooks, and once you went out on the field and and then you were able to see what you were reading on in the textbooks, and you were able to see it in reality, what is happening on the field. So that is something which I personally relate to a lot. And also you spoke about the exposure visit of Herping trip, which helped you move beyond the classrooms. You have given a very important message to everyone listening to you, that how it is important to go out and experience the world, and to see the living world around us, and to observe the living world around us, and the factors with which they are interacting for their survival. And once we do that, we get the essence of what we now call it as conservation, and in very simple terms, survival. What I liked in your presentation specifically is the method which you adopted to carry out your study. You discussed in detail about the role of discussion and planning, which happens within the four walls, and then the field work which you actually do. So that is something very interesting. Another interesting part was how you have segregated your direct and indirect evidence, and you took examples of pug marks and scats for indirect evidences, and observing the habitat and so on and so forth for direct evidence. My small feedback on this would be that once you're planning your study, and you always leave some scope. I'm sure you must already be doing that, and from your experiences, I get a sense of that you're already doing that. But just for the sake of underlining it, I'm mentioning that taking an example of what Gaurav said, that how unexpectedly he came across a leopard pug mark. So once we plan our studies and surveys, it is important to develop a framework, in which framework we are going to collect the data, what we are going to see, and where we are going to see it. But it is equally important in any survey of natural things, that we leave a lot of space open for encountering things which are unexpected, because all of us who have been on the field have experienced the unexpected, and have experienced the unexpected way too frequently. So it's important to have a set of parameters and a set of framework to function, but it is equally important to leave a lot of space for looking and sensing things which we are not expecting to see, and that comes with a simple programming and training of our mind, and not just get stuck into a box of looking at natural things just within our framework. The second small feedback I would say is that when we speak on the methodology part, one thing which I always do, and that helps build up the knowledge base, because the studies which we do and the surveys which we do, we are generating reliable information about natural things which are around us, and it is always important to give a clue or give a hint to people who will be studying the same area, or using our study or our data as a reference point. So always talk in detail about the things which you have missed in your surveys. So what in your own assessment have been the gaps in terms of conducting your field surveys? What you think in retrospect that we should have given more time here, or we need to re-look at some of the things here. Like for example, to take a specific example, when you spoke on there are so many hornbills there, so that can be a clue question to people who are going to study the area further, that what are those factors which is causing the hornbill population to thrive there. And from that key question, a lot of more information can be generated. Uh, coming to Gaurav, Gaurav, I think uh, your interest in wildlife, the way it has developed, it is very similar to mine. And fundamentally it has been same. It just happens to be that you are in a different geographical location and in a
Okay.
different time period, and I was in a different geographical location in a different time period. And I also thoroughly enjoyed listening to some of your philosophies, which were, correct company leads you to correct destination. And you also spoke about the role of mentors. I think what both of you have did here, have demonstrated here for everyone listening to both of you, is you have given a template to the educational institutions and to teachers and professors around, of the importance of having mentors, and importance of focusing on extracurricular activities and events, and the kind of impact which it might not generate overnight, but then the kind of impact which it has in the way you think creatively, in how the seeds of small conservation practices are sown in your head from those simple events. So the kind of examples which you have taken is something which all of us are really taking back from this discussion. um, and another important thing which you spoke about, uh, especially, I'm going back to that part where you said that you had a exposure with handling snakes, and how having extra information about a particular species which you did not know much about helped you gain a different perspective and a different approach to looking at a species. So you spoke of a very important thing there, and I want to highlight here that most of the times our fear with wildlife, or our fear with any other thing, be it in terms of a stranger, or a person from a different culture, or from speaking a different language, is mostly because of the lack of information. The more information we get of each other, the more we get to know of each other, the fear subsides, and it really then creates a very special bond, not just with wildlife, but with any things which we are currently not familiar of. So thank you for mentioning that. And the small feedback on what can I do as an individual. I think you have raised a very important question. That is one question which I always ask myself. There are so many things which we see around, and we feel that this needs to be changed, or this needs some intervention of sorts, or people should be working towards this. And ultimately I get back to that same fundamental question which you raised, and that is, what can I do as an individual? um, and the kind of examples which you took were very specific and very doable for everyone. What I would like to add there, when it comes to what can I do, is a very simple thing, that uh, all of us should make an effort to look at our surroundings and taking example of your childhood, that you are able to have thousands of questions accumulated over the years, uh, regarding wildlife, regarding natural things which are around you, is because you were exposed to natural surroundings since childhood. So once we
Yes.
expose ourselves to natural surroundings, we tend to even subconsciously understand the factors with which living
Exactly.
organisms are interacting, and which is helping in their functioning. So once we know that, again coming back to the whole subject of conservation, once we are interacting with our own surroundings and keeping an eye on our own surroundings, any change happening in that surrounding, immediate surrounding, only then we are able to identify the change and identify the gaps, and then we specifically pinpoint, then this is the change which is happening and what needs to be done there. So this is my addition to what you said, that what can we do as an individual. So it is very important to do the specific things which you did, but in totality, taking your example, that you are doing what you are doing because you have kept an eye on your surroundings since a long time. So it doesn't matter if we read books on zoology or biodiversity. By simply keeping an eye on our surroundings, we can make a lot of difference individually in terms of what we can do. So that is it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Anupam. It was really great to hear from you, and I hope Ratnesh and Gaurav will carry forward their work like this only in coming future. Now,
Yes,
without
sure,
wasting
sure.
much of my writing, I think I request Dr. Nitin sir to take over and give his feedback, and then we can take up questions that we have.
Okay, hi. Am I audible, Prashada?
Sir,
Yes,
yes,
yes.
you are audible.
Yeah. First of all, let me congratulate you and Aranya, and of course, see other audience. It's a great journey from your side to create people like Gaurav and Ratnesh. It is indeed a great pleasure to be a part of this particular exercise. Uh, I would start with Ratnesh. He has given a very nice presentation. I won't comment on what they did or how they did, but the main point is you people have created these students is more important, because it is a very difficult task to create a green brigade or green soldier in this particular situation. So I think one of the thing probably was missing from Ratnesh was, I was about to, wanted to hear whether you have recorded yellow water lapping in that area, because when I went recently to Mopa airport, and I have sighted the first, in the entrance I could see yellow water lapping, and your area is such that it's a beautiful place with a unique ecosystem that's a plateau, and you will definitely have a lot of different types of herpetofauna, as well as the unique birds which are residing there, and I really appreciate the way you really tried to document them. It is good efforts. At the same time, I would also say you are again and again talking about the rampant development, and I fully agree with you, because I was recently in Perne doing my survey work on amphibians and reptiles, where I cited a lot of areas are actually going for a development. And how do we really, have a strategy for conserving this particular organism? But I think you have put in a lot of efforts and especially the methods which you have utilized for documenting these particular flora and fauna. So, of course, when I was a member secretary biodiversity board, we were having a lot of issues in terms of getting the manpower in documenting this type of the flora and fauna. So I hope you are also part of these PBR preparation of PBR and the part of BMC biodiversity management committees, which you can certainly be part and document and give these records to the PBR, so that at least it can be recorded on a PBR, so that at least you will be aware that within your area this diversity was present. And also one point you were mentioning about the hornbills. I would rather ask you a question: why these hornbills are sighted abundantly in Perne Taluka? You will have to answer me after I finish my comments. At the same time, I have one suggestion, or it's a. I would like to recommend one thing. See, whenever you see any species, I would say any individual, maybe snake or maybe frog, never jump to the conclusion that this is this particular species, because when you go to the taxonomic level, it is very difficult which species it is. Because right now, even I am surprised, because I'm working on a project on herpetofauna in 3 states: Goa, Maharashtra, Karnataka. There is a lot of different species I am recording, and which I have earlier also seen. But when you go through the detailed taxonomic detail, it is something different. So whenever you see any reference book, you also counter check with some scientific publications too, so that you can get a better idea whether these species is so and so. So I think never send photograph, because on photograph you cannot identify any species. Okay, particularly on frog or maybe any snake. Also sometimes some people send a blur photo. So it is really not advisable to just send a photo. You can at the most collect the specimen, then we can do some taxonomic study, and then we can certainly come out with some idea. And of course, I also appreciate the statistics what you have used for analyzing your data and giving the documentation. Because I also have another question you need to answer, is how these species variation as per the season. That also maybe probably will have answer with you. So you have seen shown a graphical representation where you are showing certain species are on abundant during certain period. So I think you need to see why it is basically happening. And probably your Hermal college at Parsekar college, which is located, which is having forest, you have a coastline, you have a plateau, and you have an agricultural land. So definitely in future you have a good chance of taking different habitats and working on these species. Okay, so if you get an opportunity, you can certainly take a chance and take a call on it, and you can certainly work on it. So also I would like to appreciate the efforts taken by your professor Dr. Kavita Nair, who has been teaching me when she was in Dempes. Of course, I don't know whether she is online on the presentation. So next is, I would like to go to Mr. Gaurav. Mr. Gaurav, I think your what you call is interest is since childhood days. So I don't want to say anything on that. But you are amazing. The way you try to convince people, going to people, talking to them is a great effort. It is not a joke. And I would like to put some points here online. Is you have shown one purple tree crab, which I have cited when I went recently to Mopa Airport, and that area is very rich. Still, the outskirts of the areas are very rich. Found a lot of frogs in that area breeding tadpoles and so on. Another very important point you were mentioning about the turtles. Of course, with the opportunity given to me by the forest department, working with them since 1997 on this particular aspect. And let me tell you, I one of my friend was staying in Keri. He came with 5 turtle eggs to my house. And honestly speaking, if you go way back in 35 years or 40 years back, or even today, except leaving the rocky beaches, you will find turtle nesting all along the beaches of Goa, except the areas where the rocky patches are there. I will tell you, in 2006, March 5th March 2006, I got a call that Miramar Beach was having a turtle nesting, and all the eggs were taken and eaten by the people. But I surprisingly see that yes, there are young minds, young people, students who are really concerned about these eggs and these turtles. And of course, Mr. Anupam is also working on butterflies. This is just for a piece of information that government has assigned me a butterfly gardens to be developed in one in Sankli College and one in Perne College. And one of the garden which we developed with the support of the forest department in Kotiga Wildlife Sanctuary, where we got a new record for Goa, that is Tamil Scatai. So I think these small efforts can also, serve the conservation efforts from your end. I think most of the points are covered by Anupam, and I only wish you all the best. And of course, once again, let me congratulate the Arannya, especially Harshada, Pranay, and I always keep mentioning about. I think I don't know whether who mentioned it, Gaurav or Ratnesh. Always we think zoology means we have to work with a test tube. Harshada will certainly agree with me. She is giving a smile, and she has been a student of this particular institute. And when I joined this department, I was also told the same thing. I'm not commenting in a wrong way, but zoology per se, I think I really don't know. I'm not against the lab work, because right now we are also working in the lab on the DNA analysis we are doing with the herpetofauna. But you rightly said that zoology, if you go out of the classroom, it is completely different. Where I remember Harshada mentioning to me, sir, we lost that chance of getting into the field and learning something. But I really appreciate the way these people have been trained by, of course, I don't know whether Parag is online, Parag Rangnekar, then there are many more who are non-zoologists who have contributed immensely to this zoology and to the Goa. So of course there are some species are named after non-zoologists too. So let's not forget that you may be in any field, you may be non-zoologist, but you can do miracles. I think there are so many examples. There are several examples we have set within our Goa, and we can do much more better than still we can conserve something. But I think the type of development is happening. I think we need to take a call on it. We need to be with the government and convince government on certain projects where we can have a strategy for the development. Otherwise, I think it will be the unplanned development, and we may lose many more species which will be even much before discovering them. So I think I thank Arshada and the entire Arannya for their giving me opportunity to speak. And of course, Anupam, nice meeting you. And certainly, maybe if this COVID situation normalizes, please, I welcome you to Goa, and please visit our butterfly garden, and we can have. We can certainly do a lot of things. Thank you, Arshada, and all the best. And all the best to both Ratnesh and Gaurav. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, sir. Actually, Anupam ji, I will just ask you one question before you could add anything. Since we were since Nitin sir mentioned about the subject is important or not, actually I had written down that question for you. Since I know that you are not from zoology background, you have done your economics. So do you think that having formal training in life science makes any difference, or is it like you can do it without any background of life science? And how do you think designing and planning environment education is different from non-science background? So what is your opinion on this?
See, first, my answer would start with what do we mean by first science, and this I realized very later in my career, that science is nothing much but just a compilation of reliable facts and reliable knowledge, and reliable data which is around us. So again, why I was saying that I'm relating to Gaurav a lot, that since my childhood I was moving around in my countryside, and once we are moving around in the countryside, we tend to have greater interactions with the the natural factors and non-human species which are around us. So very slowly and steadily, we develop our own understanding that pintails arrive in winters, and Indian pitta arrives in summers. So that becomes a pool of reliable knowledge, and that is ultimately what we come to understand as science in a framework of subject. So so again, going back to what I added to my input on what can I do as an individual, is that if we are keeping an eye on the natural things which surrounds us, you know it uh, it really is no rocket science that we have to have a formal training on looking at things. Of course, once we are looking at things, and once our curiosity grows, we of course have to fall back on the reference books, and that of course helps us structure our own observations and things which we have already seen. So so having a formal training or a formal background matters, but it matters only as much. But keeping an eye on your surroundings has much greater impact than what a formal training can do. And taking example of Gaurav, and also taking example of Ratnesh, where he pointed out that uh, once he saw once he got an opportunity to saw what he has been reading in the textbook in his zoology course, once he got to see that in practicality, and the kind of exposure trips which helped him see the natural world in practicality, that opened up a whole lot of new doors inside his mind. So so yeah, I mean, keeping an eye on your natural surrounding is something which is very important, and I keep emphasizing on that. And science is nothing but a compilation of knowledge which are reliable facts. That's it. And those facts can keep changing as our information base, and as our knowledge about things grows.
Yeah. So I think this is a takeaway message for everyone who is live, that we need to keep our eye open and just observe, right? Okay. You had something to say and I interrupted in between. You need to
No,
know
I,
the order.
I just missed one line while I was speaking initially, and that one line was, well played on creating those heaps of sand. That was really nice.
All right, all right.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, Nitin sir, I have a question for you. Since you are teaching in university, how important are project and dissertations in shaping students' career? What is your opinion on this? Because nowadays it has been removed from curriculum, that it's not a compulsory subject. Students can either opt for papers or either they can take project work. Do you think that projects play a role in shaping their career?
Uh, Arshada, it's a very good question. Rather, like Ratnesh and Gaurav, first thing is students should have an interest in projects. Students should know the research background. Now, let me tell you this year what happened. This year, part one students, there are 30 students, and I was been teaching them wildlife conservation, biodiversity, and other things. So, 15 students gave name for the dissertation. HOD was really stunned what to do. And out of 15 students who gave names for dissertation, out of 15, 13 were for field biology. So it was a tough decision for him what to do. Of course, the pandemic came in his way to rescue him. Okay, it is you are I know you are smiling and laughing. You know what is the situation and how it is happening rather. But let me tell you one thing. I think from college level, if like how you have shaped your two students, I don't know how many more you have shaped. You need to create that interest among them. Take them out. Show them what it is, how it is, what is zoology. It is not only bookish knowledge. I forgot to mention about Hemant Thogle, who has created a wonderful book on butterflies. It's a 10 years journey which he has created that book. So it is very important. If you are in the life science, you need to know the research. It shouldn't be an immature research. It should be a scientific research. And whenever you get any specimen, you need to collect it and go through that specimen thoroughly at scientific level. Then only that interest can develop. So having projects, having now even some field work, field visits were field trips were removed. Few years back, field trips were removed. But if you tell student why it is important, how it is important, creating interest, like you are certainly doing it as a part of Arannya. And I am getting many students, like one of them is Mayur, who is really a good student. There is one more, I think a previous batch I had, I forgot his name. He's from Morley. Pardon? Jalmesh. So even the Shubham for that case. See, these are the people who can keep life science alive. Because otherwise, after doing MSc zoology, most of them they go for LDC, UDC, or B.Ed. So we are certainly losing that life science track. So it is utmost important that we need to keep them in track. Now this year I had 3 students who have done dissertation under me on different topics. So hope you are getting my point, what I am trying to say. So being a field biologist, I understand what is the importance and how student can be molded. But what happens? Coming here, after college, they come here directly. To mold them here is difficult. So at college level, if like how you people, like Kavita or many more, if they mold them into field biology, then it is, of course, I don't want everyone to go into field biology. We require some people to work on different aspects of biochemistry, physiology, and other things. But it is very important to understand what is field biology. And field biology is not easy, not simple. Just click a photo and say, okay, this is that, this is that. No, I am suffering a lot right now because when I advertise for my project, I haven't got anybody from Goa. Let me tell you this. I haven't got any taxonomist from Goa for herpetofauna, and both the boys I have recruited is from outside Goa. So it is a need of the hour that we train our students, we train our youngsters, young minds, so that they can take forward this life science in future. So it is very, very important, Harshada, to build them at college level, not here in MSc. Thank you.
Yeah, rightly said, sir. And I think there are a few teachers, especially young teachers, who are online, and this would be like a takeaway message for including me, that we need to start training our students right from our graduation level so that they can continue this in MSc and further in their future, and they should not leave it in between, right? Okay, so we'll quickly have a look at if there are any questions which have popped up from the public, so that we can end this session soon, because it is already 1.5 hours that we have been talking. Okay, so there is one question by Krishnakant Bakshi. He asks, sometimes we celebrate day of particular animal or birds or particular person. So according to you, these are effective for conservation or any other purpose? If Nitin sir would like to take up this question.
Yes, I think there are several days have been celebrated, especially birds or animals. Uh, it is very important because sometimes we do not realize the importance of our environment, and we are busy with our own assignments. And in conservation, it is very important that one thing, bringing people together. So we need some reason to bring people on one platform of like-minded people who are into this particular field. And it is you might be seeing wildlife week celebration or a Vanamotsava, or otherwise, if you don't have these days to be celebrated, how would you get these young minds, young people, or in general the public who will get involved in these conservation efforts? Because if you don't have, imagine if you don't have any day to be celebrated, will we ever go and try to do anything? No. So I think it is an opportunity for all the general public, including the like-minded people, who come together and celebrate, so the entire world knows, yes, we need to respect our mother earth, we need to respect this particular biodiversity. Like how we have a Maniya Thapani, what you call crocodile worship. We have so many, so people are into this conservation because they know the importance of that particular species, and that is why it is important to have these particular days to be celebrated, so that people know the importance of these species.
Thank you, sir. My last question for Anupam from my side. Since you are part of Lead India program, what advice would you give to Ratnesh and Gaurav to become a future leaders and become advocates of our conservation and sustainable living?
Our so definition of leadership in the first place varies from organization to organization, or individual to individual, and context to context. How we like to see leadership is that anybody who in their own sphere who is trying to make a change. And one thing I would like to reassure that Gaurav and Ratnesh in their own sphere, and including Nitin sir and Harshada, you are leaders already, or you are creating a stream of people coming in who are more vigilant, who are more vigilant about their own surroundings, of their own actions, I must say. And that not just includes in regards to biodiversity or wildlife or environment, but just more aware and more conscious of their own actions. And that is something, one of the most important traits of leaders. So for Gaurav and Ratnesh, it is very important to keep doing what they're doing, and interact and get in touch with more people. I think once our reference bank of knowing more and more people from very diverse background, and I quote unquote say diverse background, is because one of the USPs of Lead is that it is a network of very unlike-minded people. We generally have the tendency of mingling and interacting with like-minded people, but Lead is special in that ways, where we are a group of very unlike-minded people, where we have people from who are marine biologists, to people working in the mining sector as well. So so once we interact and understand each other from each other's perspective, you know discussions, dialogues, and the kind of goals, and assigning shared goals for each other becomes very easy. And again, going back to the same example of once we limit ourselves to mingling and interacting with like-minded people, people from other sphere or other profession or other backgrounds, they come across as strangers, and they can uh, give us same threat of what handling a snake does. So for Gaurav and Ratnesh, I would only say that make more efforts to interact with a lot of people, and interact with people who are out from your spheres of work. So that would give you another whole lot of exposure and windows look at the world from way too many different eyes, and we at Lead, welcome you both to interact with us, to engage with us, and you know. Very happy to see you both doing what you're doing.
Yeah. Thank you, Anupam. I think we always go wrong here only that we interact with like-minded people only, and as you rightly said, we need to interact with uh, people who are from other backgrounds, other knowledge, other sector, right? So I think this particular feedback is very important. Okay, before we end the session, let's quickly see if there are any questions which have come from the audience. Krishna, okay, this is a comment that I think subject is not matter, but your deeply interest and your love with work are more important, right? I think we will take questions first and then take the comments, because I can see there are a lot of comments which have come. If there are questions, we'll see. Okay, there is a question by Pranay. He asks, is there a way to get wildlifers from non-biology background and those who are trained in biology on a common platform in Goa? Often those who have done amazing work but with no formal training are discriminated by the academic circle. I think,
I think Harshada, I would
yeah,
intervene here. I think Pranay,
yeah, yeah.
it's a very good, yeah, it's a very good question. Rather, we are at the university level probably in the process of amending some of the rules, where I think we are going to get more people from the different field to join the biology. I think just wait for maybe few months or maybe for a year. Already it is in process. We are also in a process of framing the syllabus for non-biologists so that they can enter into the biology field. So I think I never wanted to disclose this. We are in a process, so just wait for a while. There is a way we can include non-biologists into a biology. Okay.
Yeah, good to hear that, sir. Looking forward to it. Anupam, do you have anything to add here?
Uh, yeah, I mean, it, it's a very interesting question, and yeah, I mean, I second what Nitin sir had to say. I just want to say that 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 again we had this discussion on the importance of formal training or a formal certificate, and there's a joke which goes around, and that joke is कि अगर न्यूटन फिजिक्स पढ़ते होता तो वो सेब को पेड़ से गिरते थोड़ी देखता. so that is all which I wanted to say.
Right. Thank you so much, Anupam, and thank you, sir. I think we do not have any questions, but there are few suggestions which have come from the audience and what they would want us to do in future. Let me just see if there are any comments which public also should know. Okay, so Mr. Kailash says that very good beginning when globally life has become stagnant online classroom. Maybe good to disseminate knowledge among academic fraternity far and wide location. I compliment all the learned speaker to give thrust in this very important topic. Thank you so much, sir. I saw some suggestions which had come. Okay, there is a request by Mr. Krishna Kant. He asked to organize my request to organize committee, please organize talk or webinar on how the biodiversity data analyzed by statistically method. Sure, Mr. Bakshi, we would definitely look into this, and as and when time comes, we will also look into how webinars can be done. But As far as Aranya is concerned, we have been doing this with students during our camps, as well as we conduct special programs for students, like how to do a proper research. So I think if an online session is requested, we could also look into it. All right. Yeah. I think we are done with today's session. I would like to thank
Harshada, before you end, just take another 1 year down the line. You will have a good news from the university side. Our vice chancellor sir is working very hard towards you people, So
Okay.
and of course our department is now doing a good work, and you anytime anything academically, if you need any help on wildlife or biodiversity, definitely our door is open. So vice chancellor certainly is working very hard towards these particular aspect of biodiversity and wildlife conservation. So just wait. I think Parag is aware about it, but let's not disclose it now on the screen. Okay. So all the best.
Sir,
Thank you.
we will surely wait for the good news. So thank you, Anupam, and thank you, Nitin sir, for sparing your
Thank
time.
you, all of you. Good to listen
And
to
nice
all of
meeting,
you.
Anupam. Nice meeting, and I welcome you to Goa
Thanks.
anytime after pandemic.
And likewise,
Not before that.
likewise.
Not before that. Not before that. Yeah, please. Thank you, Arshada, for inviting me. Thank you.
Sure, sir. And I also thank Ratnesh and Gaurav for sharing their wonderful journey with us. And we look forward to Vaibhavi Naik, who will be speaking next week on the same day, that is Wednesday at 5 p.m. She will be sharing her documentation about jackals in Goa. So we look forward to her to listen. And I request everyone to spend their time next week again. So that's it from our end. And thank you very much. See you next
Thank
week.
you, miss. Thank you so much.
All right.
Bye.
See you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye, Arshada. Bye.